Today I'm going to take a look at comparing how much profit we can make using either a live account, an instant funding account, or taking prop firm challenges. I'll first look at a fixed, similar amount of investment. Additionally, I will highlight some very important points when trading props, so be sure to stay till the end for that. Also, with the new platform Algo Trading Space, we'll be testing much more expert advisors on real trade environments. So if you don't want to miss any updates, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've put together a very simple spreadsheet to demonstrate what the difference between an initial investment of $400 in each of these three trading accounts would be. So let's have a look. As I said, it is very, very basic and simple. And what I'm showing here, I've got it for live, instant, and prop, but I think it's best to just focus on live and instant, and we'll do prop at the end because there's a big difference and many people aren't going to actually be able to trade prop, but everyone is going to be able to trade this. And the reason is the types of strategies that we can trade on these is much, much more, and I'll explain that in a second. So what I've got here is let's invest $400 in either live or instant, in this case iFunds. $400, if we invest that, we're just going to have $400 of capital, and any profits we make, we're going to be able to take 100% of that profit share. And for iFunds, we can have a look here and see that if we invest $400, we actually get to start with a $5,000 account. And we're going to be able to take our profit share from month one. As soon as we make profits, we can take our profit share, and our profit cut is 50% of that, and 50% goes to the platform. And the other thing I'm assuming here is basically what I've got here is I've calculated the monthly profits, and it's based on the assumption of 2% a month profit. Now, how realistic is 2% a month? Well, let's have a look at some of the results on the Algo Trading Space platform to see. If we come here, we can see that we're sharing many results on the platform. So we've got live trading, funded trading, prop challenges. I will click so we can see we've got the live trading stats, and we've got a bunch of live results there on loads of different EAs that are trading on several different sizes of live accounts. We're gonna have a look at funded trading here. We've got all these, we've got Japan Strike EA, Forex Gold Investor, trading on many different kinds of instant funding accounts, and it's showing us good statistics. It's showing us the overall gain, the 30 days profit, where the current balance is and the starting balance, and how many trades, how long it's been trading for. So there's excellent information here. And if we go down, one of the best EAs in the market at the moment is this FX Stabilizer Pro. And so we can see here, this has actually been trading on iFunds for 113 days, so nearly 4 months. And it's made 2.71%, so nearly 3% last month. And we can also see that it's made nearly 12% for the whole 4 months. So it's really averaging about 3% a month, and that seems to be pretty steady. Now we can confirm that it's quite steady monthly profits by going down here and having a look at, again, we're on Algo Trading Space. This is part of the VIP club that we can see all this in a further breakdown. And if we go here to, where is it? FX Stabilizer Pro, here's the account, the 2.71%. We've got the FX Blue link here. And so we can see, I just want to make straight away is that this is a withdrawal. We've actually taken nearly 1,500 of profit from the account. So actually this is a pretty steady kind of growing account. We've withdrawn, but really this point's going to have continued on from there. And it's making nice, steady, consistent profits. Also, the equity's reasonably close. For this, the equity dips a bit, but it's not drifting too far so far. This is 4 months of trading results on 4 pairs. So this is doing really well. So in answer to the question, is 2% a month reasonable? Well, there's one example of it is, and there's some great information on the new platform's statistics here to help people choose good EAs. And all these third-party EAs can be traded on live and instant accounts, of course. So there's no rules such as there is on props, and so it's a great place to start. So we're confirming that 2% a month is pretty reasonable. And so for the instant funds, what I've got here is a monthly profit of $50, and how that's calculated is we're basically taking that 5,000, we're making our 2% every month, and we're taking half of that cut. And that's obviously, we're withdrawing, we're not compounding, we're just making $50 every month. Similarly, for the live account, I'm actually saying in this case we're making 6% 2% a month. And the reason is that 2% a month is fixed to a 10% drawdown, but we can have a bit of a larger drawdown for the live account. 30% is probably as high as I'd like to push that, but it means that we'll triple our percentage. We've got to have a bigger drawdown, but we'll triple our monthly profit. So in this case, we're making 6% on our $400, and we're of course taking 100% of that. But it still comes out to half of the monthly profit that the instant funds would make. And so basically then what we're showing is that, we want to recover this $400. That's the first step. And so what I've got here is I've got the $400, and then basically I'm saying, okay, but let's just take off we put our monthly profits into there until we recover our initial investment. And for that to happen for the live account, it's going to take us up till month 17. But for our instant funding account, we're going to have recovered that 400 investment in half the time at month 8. And from that point onwards, we're actually making true profits. So I mentioned now the prop. And as I said, not all traders are going to be able to trade these because it depends on what you trade. And third party aren't applicable, but I'll explain that in a second. With these two accounts, we're going to get withdrawing profits immediately, right? So that goes in. But for the prop, we need to make 15%. These are the values for an FTMO $50,000 challenge. It's going to cost just over $400. We've got to make 15% first to actually get the funded account. So if we're making 2% a month, that's 7.5 months. And then basically from that point onwards, we're now going to be making our 2% a month on the 50,000 and taking our 8% cut. So at that point, there's a big jump in the money we're able to make. So again, about month 8, we're going to actually get our profit, and we're also going to get our fee refund. And so we start growing our capital quite quickly, theoretically, with a prop firm, if they pay out, of course, which I'll explain in a second. And so that's another good option. Finally, we have to consider the rules, and this is very important. Depending on what your level as a trader is and what you're trading. So obviously for a live account, there are no rules. You can trade whatever you want, you make the rules. For iFunds, there's one rule, and it is just stay above the drawdown limit. You have different options, but we'll work with 10%. So you don't exceed 10% equity drawdown or you'll lose the account. But you can trade any strategy you want. Third party are fine, there's no limitations there. All of these results on, for example, the Algo trading space platform, well, anyone can come and have a look at these, and if they like the look of the results, I mean, here we go, here's another great, Infinity EA. It's been trading for nearly a year, made loads of trades, 4% last month, 45% for the year so far. Someone might want to trade that. You can inspect these results and go, oh, this looks like a good EA, market master, okay, I'm going to trade that. And straight away you can get to trading with these things. But with prop firms, they will pick up on the fact that you are trading third-party EAs, and a lot of these third-party EAs are grid martingale or certainly grid systems that aren't allowed on props. So if you do trade a third-party EA on a prop, most likely you're wasting your time and money because they will 100% detect this. And as I say, for prop firms, there's a big benefit to being able to trade prop firms. Obviously, you scale up further, but not everyone can do this. You need to be able to develop your own strategies, which I'll speak about in a second. Let's have a look at the maximized version. Obviously, with your live accounts, your maximum version is, with all of them, how much money you've got to invest. The point being here, with a prop firm account, the most, for example, with FTMO, is they only allow you to have 400k of initial capital to trade on. So you're kind of limited in how much you can invest into that trading account. Their biggest account is 200,000, but you can have 2 of those. But really, $1,200 for a $200,000 account, that's how much you're making. For the iFunds, for example, you can buy a $500,000 account. If we go and have a look at that, it'll cost you $30,000, but you can actually buy $500,000 of capital, and there's no limit either. You can have as many of those as you want. And so I've put one of those in here, and you can see that it's actually outperforming the prop and always will, because even when you get that 200,000, you're taking your cut, but there's more money to be made. And of course, you can actually make a lot more by having as much of these. So it depends on how much. It's going to appeal to very few people. Very few people are investing that large sum of money, but in a long-term scaling up sense, that this can keep going much larger than the prop firm capital, really. But it's the same thing, no matter how large the money is. Also, it recovers quicker. With iFunds, I'll just point out that in actual actual fact, there's more leverage, and kind of what it lets you do is you're actually able to recover and have made your money back by month 6 rather than month 8. So the benefits kind of get better the bigger instant funds account you get. But just to be aware, for the same amount, there's, as I said, you'll make double on the live, but as you scale up over many, many years, this has kind of unlimited potential. So I hope that's been helpful. For anyone trading third-party EAs, I definitely recommend checking out iFunds to increase your profits, as I've shown. We'll put a link in the description there so you can go straight to the iFunds website and have a look at all the options. I've had nothing but good experience with them, and they pay out regularly and quick with no questions asked. So they've proven themselves to be a great firm. Alternatively, for anyone who's actually interested in taking the time to learn how to use EA Studio to develop your own strategies so that you can actually then trade props, because that's what you need to do. You need to be able to develop your own strategies by any means, but EA Studio is the best way I've found to do that. And I highly recommend checking out this video that shows me withdrawing profits from my 100k funded FTMO account, and also discusses how I do that on a regular basis with other challenges too. So trade safe, and bye for now.